this year, I really wanted to think about, I want to bring the fun back for kiddos. I want the kiddos to have more than just a performance. We're gonna improve your performance on the test. That's not engaging for students, right? And I know curriculum has shifted in a great way to put more of a lift on the students, which is what we want, but the kids are drowning in the lift without an endpoint to kind of motivate them through it, right? The endpoint is, so I decided last year to make, I chose one of the tasks, the community garden, and I put it at the end of a math unit, open science. There was just nothing, there's no, in my brain, no way of getting it into science. I already had like 179 actual days in a pacing guide for a 180-day year, just, you know, exactly, impossible, no field trips involved there, no, right, impossible. So I thought we'll put this at the end of math, and it worked. It was fantastic to give kiddos that sort of project at the end.
So we talked about how they're redoing the bridge that connects East Haddam to Haddam, and we talked about the different types of bridges. So we learned the different types of bridges and what makes them safe and why they should feel very safe. In the project, I allowed them to, so in the task that's in defined learning, it says to use popsicle stick, they could use popsicle stick bridges. I advanced that a little bit more, and I allowed them to design a popsicle stick bridge, a gumdrop bridge, a Connects bridge, or a balsa wood bridge. And the kids this year, they didn't want to test them. They wanted to bring them home and put them in their rooms. It was crazy. Some years the kids are like, no, let's break them all. But these guys were very, very sentimental about their bridges, and they wanted to carefully take them home in boxes and show.
And now I'm in summers, so this is my second year, and I'm a K-5 STEM leader. So I've been kind of planting little seeds throughout the school and kind of embedding my work. So I push into classrooms, so I don't have my own students, but I push into classrooms. So I lead a lot of project-based learning and support teachers in the classroom on all subject areas, primarily math for the past couple of years, but I try to thread in a lot of engineering. So I do want to say that everything that I've been doing within Summers really aligns well. Defined lines aligns perfectly with their portrait of a graduate, also called the student success. Last year, we had a third grade teacher that wanted to do some work with their science unit on magnets, and we had the magnet engineer third grade task. So students created, did a lot of brainstorming on problems that exist in their lives or people's lives that they know, and then had to create a blueprint design and then make a project on making someone's life better using magnets. So they presented their work. You'll see Heather in the background, so Define was great. I usually reach out to Heather and I'll say, hey, I have students that want to present. And you want to have students present to an audience, obviously besides just their classroom. So I try to involve district leaders, principals, maybe get board of ed members to come in. But Heather met with us virtually and the students presented to her on their magnet engineering. So to their classmates and to her as well, where she gave them feedback. So I have a STEM club that's for grades 2 through 3 that are once a week after school. And I also have a robotics club for grades 4 through 5. So I used the carnival game designer last year where students had to design a carnival game out of cardboard. They created their blueprints, had to design their game, and then we invited members of the Summers community to come in and play the students' games and give them feedback, where then students were talking about how they would revise their games based on the feedback. They didn't have a chance to redesign, but they were able to talk about what they could potentially do to revise their work.
Sneaking in. So you can see it took us a little while to get going, and then as the further they get into it, the more of the defined careers they're really utilizing on a day-to-day basis.
And what I really like about it too is that it's very individualized, and so the students are kind of going at their own pace, because right now they're doing virtual internships, they're doing, in my class they're doing the self-awareness and self-management unit, and they're working on their checklist for December, which Gray made for them, so it's kind of a lock and dunk. Yeah, right, like
Lock in.
before break, this is what you have to do, right? And we're starting SAT, PSAT prep. So they've got a lot going on. And so it's really nice because I walk around the classroom and they're all working similarly, but they're all working on different things. And then they're kind of asking each other questions and they're sharing things and their internships. Everyone's doing a different thing. And they're like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what part are you on? So it's kind of cool. Like, and to be honest, it's not a huge heavy lift for us because there are 5 of us that teach this course. So it's been great. So the other teachers love it because they're like, this is great. You know?
They can go to any other kid who's taking the class and ask, like, how are you handling whatever, if they have some kind of challenge. They've got, I mean, we have really, really high academic students. We've got pretty low academic, we've got everything in the middle, we got all kinds of different interests. So this is a really great way that everybody's working on the same thing while getting all the rigor they need or having it scaffolded for them however it works for them. And they know that there's 5 teachers that they can ask for help. There's like any 10th grader, you know, they can ask a friend even if they're not in the same class because it's exactly the same kind of parameters across the board, but then highly individualized.